Welcome to Section 420, Talkin Yankees, the podcast. Well, the Yankees keep rolling along, doing what they've pretty much been doing all season, winning series, taking 2 out of 3, which is fine. If you just keep doing that the rest of the way, you're setting goals. So Yankees keep rolling it along against the Cleveland Guardians. So the little road trip ends here. Now the Yankees will return to Minnesota. So going to get you caught up in all that. And, of course, the emergence of Cordero, who I kind of highlighted in the previous episode, getting 2 home runs against his kind of former team, even though he was only there for a cup of coffee, the Baltimore Orioles. Well, it keeps rolling along. Another 2 home run in this series against Cleveland. So, again, getting to cut you up all that, but make sure before we get started here, if you haven't done it yet, I don't know why you haven't done it yet, you should do it. Make sure you subscribe to this podcast, Section 420 Talkin Yankees podcast, and get little wrap-ups after each series throughout the rest of the season. Of course, little other extra nuggets and notes and cool little things that come included that. It's only for you exclusive podcast subscribers, so make sure you're a podcast subscriber. So, Yankees rolling along there, taking 2 out of 3 against the Baltimore Orioles, and moving on to face the Cleveland Guardians, who the Yankees knocked out of the divisional series there. Went to 5 games, really should have gone to 5 games, nevertheless did. So Yankees continued their dominance against the Cleveland Guardians. And if you want to go back to last season, the Yankees swept the Guardians at home and then took 2 out of 3 on the road there. So again, Yankees lately have had Cleveland's number there, and this would continue throughout the rest of this series. So started off with Domingo Germán versus Shane Bieber, no relation to Justin Bieber. And Germán, I kind of broke down his last start against the Phillies there where, yes, he didn't go 5 innings there. If you look at his line, you're like, was this not a great start? But it wasn't terrible. It was a little bad luck there. Again, not like he got clobbered. Did have about 8 strikeouts there. So it was kind of one of those, you look at a pitching line and say, hey, you know what? He was probably better than his pitching line. This was a game where definitely worse than his pitching line, even though he didn't give up many runs there. But he was a little sloppy there with 5 walks, which we'll get into. So the Yankees kind of came out early in this game. You figure, all right, you know what? This would be kind of a laugher. Had bases loaded. Stanton knocks 2 in with a double there, so it puts the Yankees up early 2-0. And you figure, all right, Yankees is going to steamroll along there. But Bieber would settle into this game. Now, Germán himself wasn't terrible. But again, only able to go 3 innings again, and I mentioned before the 5 walks, but did leave this game with a 2-1 lead there. So you figure, all right, at least you give the Yankees somewhat of a fighting chance, but kind of been some of a theme we talked about early. Yankees have had a lot, unless it's a game that Cole pitches, it seems like the Yankee bullpen is on full-time work, and this would be the case in this game. And eventually, after Cleveland would tie it up, they would take the go-ahead run in the 7th inning against Ian Hamilton there with a sac fly from Justin Naylor that would score Kwan, give the Guardians at that point a 3-2 lead. But what was really the most frustrating point of this game was in the 8th inning. Now, Gleyber Torres leads off the 8th inning with a triple. So you figure, all right, great. You're down 3-2. You got a triple. You have Judge, Rizzo, and Stanton come up. You figure at the very least, this game's going to be tied. Probably go ahead, but at the very least tied. But no, Judge pops up, and then he gets strikeouts by Rizzo and Stanton. Strands Gleyber there at third base. Again, kind of a stunning fashion. And then, in the 9th inning, Clase, their kind of high elite closer there who can hit triple digits there on the radar gun, closes the Yankee out, and Cleveland takes the first game there by the score of 3-2. And again, a frustrating game just because, you had the early 2-0 lead, and really the Yankees should have tacked off from there. They didn't, kind of let Bieber off the hook there. Didn't get the strongest start from Germán, but Germán was just able to keep the Yankees afloat, and the bullpen kept the Yankees kind of close, but the Yankees weren't really able to tack on. But then you have that situation in the 8th inning where you have a leadoff triple, and the Yankees can't capitalize from that. And you feel like really one you let get away. And that's kind of been almost a theme of a lot of the Yankee series early this season. Maybe except the Phillies game, where the second game there, we feel like, well, the Yankees lost 4-1, and even though it wasn't really an onslaught from the Phillies, it wasn't really a situation there where the Yankees really had a chance. But even the games that the Yankees lost this season, almost all of them, except that one Philly game where they were just right there and they almost could have gotten the sweep. But nevertheless, you still take 2 out of 3. So the Yankees do drop that first one by the score of 3-2. But come around with game 2, and of course you have Garrett Cole, who looks completely locked in. Every spring training game start he had was good. And so far, the first 2 regular season starts have been great for him, and this is just be another one. And that's really why you need an ace. You have ups and downs, you have injuries, but they go to someone like Cole when every 5th start. You can almost pencil in that win. It's just so important. Kind of takes the Yankees back, 2009, 2010 with CC Sabathia. Whatever's going on there, you just almost guarantee slot him in for a win there. And that's the same with Garrett Cole. Now, he did fall behind in the second game there by a score of 2-0. But the Yankees really erased that right away and would go on to get an onslaught in this game. In the second inning, Trevino with an RBI single would score Oswaldo Cabrera. And I would say, as much highlight Cordero, throughout this Cleveland series, but you have to start looking at Oswaldo Cabrera. He kind of started heating up a little bit. Again, not really the greatest start of the season. I know people want to get on Hicks and stuff like that, but again, Oswaldo Cabrera also not really off to a great start during the Giants, Phillies, and Baltimore Orioles series. Not that tremendous as well himself, but finally started to wake up a little bit during this series. So kind of seeing a little sign for life for him. But at that point, Yankees still behind 2-1, but really in the third inning and then just moving forward, the Yankees really took over this game. With that same Cabrera, as I mentioned, with a sac fly of his own in the third inning, would give the Yankees a 3-2 lead, and they wouldn't look back from there. Later in that same third inning with 2 runners on, Cordero, 3-run home run, put the score at 6-2 at that point, and the Yankees were just on cruise control the rest of the way from there. The Yankees would continue on attack on the rest of this game with no response from the Cleveland Guardians, and the Yankees ultimately come away with an 11-2 win there to tie the series up with 1-1. But get ready, the star of the game would be Garrett Cole. Obviously not a lot of strikeouts, only 3 in the game, but again, able to give the Yankees 7 innings there, only surrendering the 2 runs on 5 hits, again, just with 3 strikeouts. And then, of course, the last 2 innings, they had using Albert Abreu just in a mop-up role, just able to get the last 6 outs of the game. But again, that's game just where you look at Garrett Cole. All right, the ace keeps rolling along, and the emerges finally a little bit of Oswaldo Cabrera picking it up. He had a tremendous spring for the Yankees, but first couple of series, a little bit quiet, but now maybe he's starting to wake up a little bit. But again, Cordero with the big 3-run home run. And again, you kind of see like little comparisons between him and last season with Matt Carpenter, where it's just kind of a guy that Cashman picks up off the scrap heap and is contributing big for this team right away. So it's just, again, great to see that for Cordero, which then brings us finally to the third and final game. It would be Clarke Schmidt, who really needed a good start. Again, first 2 starts, he would be good early on, but, not giving the Yankees much. Now, he wasn't terrible in this game. Again, not great, but not actually terrible. Now, funny enough, this would be a game that in the first inning there, Schmidt would surrender a couple of runs. Now, not all of it his fault, kind of a bloop, but also a ban down Pomeranian call. So there was a catch made that seemed like it was made in an inning. Everyone was walking off the field. Then it kind of like the crowd was murmuring a little bit. And then so the umpires come together and they call a ball that should have been out, not an out on replay. Boone got really pissed off, came out and got his first injection of the season for him of 2023. So thrown out of the game. And the Yankees, by the third inning, were put in a 3-0 hole. Rosario, the former Met, shortstop there, would hit a solo home run off of Schmidt there, put the Yankees in a 3-0 hole. And you figure, all right, you know what? Yankees had a bit of this road trip, only a 6-game road trip, but like, all right, you can lose this last game, maybe not the biggest deal in the world. Again, you have Clarke Schmidt on the mound, who's probably not someone who's going to be a starter, long-term for the team. He's just kind of there until Sevy and Rondon come back, whenever that's going to be. But again, you figure you almost maybe surrenderously, but no, the Yankees gritted this one out. You might even say this might be the most satisfying win of the season. Again, the game wasn't that glorious, but just the way that the Yankees were in a 3-0 hole, but finally get on the board in the 5th by Higgy. Now, he hit an RBI, what should have been an RBI single, but thanks for the throwing error, actually ended up scoring 2 runs. So the Yankees at that point put in just only behind at that point now 3-2 instead of 3-0, looks much better. But then in the 7th inning, Franchy Cordero, again, the 2023 version of Matt Carpenter, hitting a solo home run, which would then tie the game at that point. 3-3, it'd be his 4th home run of the season. And then in the 9th inning, that guy I mentioned before, Oswaldo Cabrera, who kind of woke up a little bit in the previous game, would hit a major RBI double off of Clase. Again, they're kind of elite closer. And again, not tough to hit off the guy. But he would get some good wood on that, hit the ball, a double off the wall there in right field. We're able to score Gleyber Torres, put the Yankees up at that point 4-3, and that would be your final score. Clay Holmes closing out in the bottom of the 9th for his 4th save of the season. But the story of this game was really the Yankee bullpen, 5 innings pitch, no runs, and that's what you like to see, and especially contributions from, again, the big 3, which you're going to see pretty much all the way, and if they're healthy and good, this team is going to, that's the way this team's going to roll. Michael King, Peralta, Holmes, no runs on the board, and if that's going well, that's just how this team, as well as our good friend Rob Marinaccio, again, the Jersey Shore local product there, also contributing to this the scoreless Yankee bullpen there, and the Yankees able to take this one out 2-1 against Cleveland, which the Yankees have been doing against the Giants, what they did against the Phillies, what they did against the Orioles, and now Cleveland as well. And the Yankees keep rolling along and then head back to the Bronx to host the Minnesota Twins for 4 games there. But really, it's kind of focus on a couple of things. Like I got to focus on, again, Brian Cashman and Cordero. For all the people, the grief they want to give Brian Cashman, he just seems to have an eye to catch people at the right time. Again, he's not always 100% perfect, but to pick up someone like, to make a trade for like Javi Vasquez, who the Yankees more than happy to get rid of at the end of the 2008 season, to pick up Nick Swisher in 2009 and get the production you got on Nick Swisher for a couple of seasons. Then trade Austin Wells to get Curtis Granderson here. We know Granderson is always a raw talent, but 2 years with the New York Yankees, hitting like 40 and 41 home runs back-to-back in front of Jeter in that kind of 2 slot there. Jeter would get on somehow, and Granderson would hit a 2-run home run. And before you blinked, so many Yankee games, the Yankees have a 2-0 lead. And you can just point to so many success stories from Cashman finding guys like this, especially the guy who closed the final game on Clay Holmes. And Franchy Cordero, again, it's very early, but you got to give Cashman his hat. He just finds these guys at the right time, and they contribute. And if you want to look at Matt Carpenter last season, Cordero this season, even though it's a small sample, he does have an eye to that. So, for all the grief you want to give Cashman, maybe once in a while, you always get him about maybe not developing home players good enough, maybe not having a good eye of getting starting pitches in here, whatever you want to give him. But he does seem to find players off the scrap heap, and they come here and they perform well. And look, Franchy Cordero, if you look at the Friday Baltimore Oriole game, now the Yankees ultimately lost that game, but it's a situation with one swing of the bat brought him back from a 4-0 hold to 4-3, which is a totally different ball game. Now that's a game the Yankees eventually took the lead, but blew the lead thanks to Marinaccio and as well as the rest of the Yankee bullpen there. But again, it could be a situation where Cordero would have been the hero of the game. Not the case, but then we hit another home run in the Sunday game, and then you're looking at a big home run in the second game of this Cleveland series where the Yankees are only up by 3-2, which, Cleveland probably figures, all right, it's not big. We're going down by one run. We could come back in this one. But then hits a 3-1 home run, which sort of rips their heart out, puts the Yankees up at that point 6-2, and then Cole starts dealing. And then Cleveland's like, all right, that's it for the night. We don't got a shot in this game. And then you get a game like this where the Yankees, almost expecting to lose. All right, they're only down by 1 run. This guy ties it up late in the 7th inning with a, clutch home run, 3-3, and then the Yankees take the lead there finally in the 9th and then get a win on the road there. And so, again, you got to highlight Cordero. How long is this going to last? We don't know. Again, I kind of gave you the book on the guy. He does strike out like 34% of his at-bats, so a lot of strikeouts, but so far he's been hitting a lot of clutch home runs, big spots, so who knows with this guy. And, again, versatile. You can play outfield, all the outfield positions, has a strong arm, could play first base. So, again, this might be, you always have your big guys you bring in, whether it's Judge and the big contract and Carlos Rendon, who he hasn't even thrown a pitch yet. You give him a big contract, and there's people that you expect. But then you pick up a guy like that of a scrap heap, and he just kind of blows up on you. So who knows? Maybe that'll be the case with him. But nevertheless, the Yankees move on. So they're 8-4 right now, taking 2 out of 3 each time. That's fine. That's fine as it goes. So pretty much, kind of worried about a little bit of Rendon. They're kind of like giving you mixed messages on when he's going to be back, so you got to be worried about it like that. And as well as, Severino's been throwing in the pen, and okay, fine, no really timetable on him yet, but it'd be great to get those 2 back, so you don't have to rely on, hey, it's Cole's day to get the win, because there's going to be parts of this season where Cole's is not going to be Cole, so you need someone to step up, and you need Severino to step up, you need Rendon to step up. So as soon as they get them back there, all the more better. So Yankees take 2 out of 3 against the Cleveland Guardians. All good so far in the Yankee land. Let's get Severino and Rendon back, and let's keep this going. Catch you next time.